So, welcome to Taking Care of Mom and Dad. Today we are talking to Debbie. Hello, Debbie.
Hi there.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing
Well,
good.
thank you for joining us. So, I'd like you to tell people what your business is about and where you're located.
Okay, so my name's Debbie Gross, and my business is a home instead. So we do non-medical in-home care, and that is wherever you call home. So it doesn't have to be in a residential home, could be in an assisted living, could be in an independent living, could be on a boat, doesn't matter. I mean, I live in Arizona, so it's probably not on a boat, but it could be on a boat. And I'm located in the West Valley of Arizona. My business is based in the West Valley of Phoenix. My business is based in a suburb of Phoenix called Surprise.
Surprise. Oh, what a nice
Yes,
name.
yes,
And
totally.
what
Yeah.
is your county? So it's because I'm sure you go out of.
Oh, Maricopa County. Yep. So
Okay.
we're Maricopa County is the basically the whole Phoenix metro area.
Okay. If you could tell us a little bit of how you got into this, what made you decide to do this?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I was 25 years in the semiconductor industry. I worked for Intel. I worked for an amazing company called On Semi, and I did all kinds of things. I ran service organizations. I ran planning organizations. I worked in factories making semiconductors. And then my dad was diagnosed with dementia. And at first we were just doing okay. We were kind of, going along. And I really found that my mom was really scared. And she and my dad were living just down the street from us, but my mom, um, she was afraid. And so every time something went wrong, she would call 911, and then I would I had to go to the hospital. And then, it was really that it was really that he had dementia. So there wasn't a whole lot that they could do. So, we kind of went through this pattern. And then my dad had a series of falls, which is very common,
Yes.
and a series of issues. We moved them into our home, or we moved home so that they could be with us. But it was still so difficult. And one day I remember it was a Saturday and I hadn't taken a shower yet. It was like the afternoon. My mom and I are trying to get my dad in the shower, and she's on one side and I'm on the other. And we're trying to, like, he's not following cues. And
Right.
we are so woefully inadequate at this, right? And so we just, and I looked at my mom and I'm like, I'm standing in the shower and I myself don't think I'm going to get a shower that day. And I'm trying to shower my dad and my mom's trying to shower my dad. I'm like, we just can't do this. We cannot do this.
An
I don't know
aha
what we
moment.
need.
That was your aha
Yeah,
moment.
right. Where
Yeah.
it's just like, I can't do this. And then from that moment on, I just started learning everything I could. And I realized that not only did I get the help that we needed for my parents and for me and for all of our sanity, but I also realized, like, oh my gosh, this is what I've meant to be doing my whole life. So I
Oh,
felt like I
wonderful.
was guided from that moment to, man, this is something that really speaks to my heart and is something that people need so much. And so I threw my career in semiconductors away and started
Totally
this
different.
totally different. Yes, yes.
And what was the process? Do you mind me asking of what you go through to
Oh yeah. I started looking. I have a business partner, he's amazing. And we both started looking, and I kind of recruited him, like, hey, do you want to go into business with me? And he's like, yes. And we started looking, and I thought, when you're going to buy a business, that you just be like, hey, I'd like to buy your business. Let me write you a check or whatever you do. But that's not the process of buying a home care business. It took us probably 9 months to
oh
get
wow.
qualified.
Yeah.
Homestead is very strict about who is allowed to purchase one of their franchises. So just because you're interested does not mean that you're get. That's like the first step, right?
Yeah. So
And
that's good
so,
to know. So they do their
yes,
research when
they
you're
really do their research. So we were interviewed. We were interviewed by the broker, by the owners. We were interviewed by home instead leadership. We've had psychological evaluations to make sure that our leadership skills and our, our hearts matched the, the intentions and
Their philosophy, probably.
philosophy of the company. And so it really was like a very difficult process, but one that I am so grateful for now. So yeah, but that's
So it's
very
not like they
important.
just hand it to you and say, go.
No, no, not at all. No,
Okay.
no.
That's good to know. What would be the process we go through?
Sure. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to chat. Like, I'm going to understand you, your mom, the help that from your words, right? What is it that she needs help with? And I'm going to just be listening. We spend a lot of time listening because people need to tell their story. This isn't just let me sell you my services, because you may not need my services. And that does happen a lot too. People call and so my whole team spends a lot of time really listening and kind of going, okay. And then, as you're, if you said, okay, my mom needs, a little bit of help, usually people say like, oh, a little bit of help around the house and, maybe some companionship and things like that. We're kind of start pulling out more like, what does that mean to you? What does that look like to you? What times of day are difficult for her?
That's a good question, because
Yes,
what I may feel mom needs, I find a lot of times people are doing everything for them and they're like, oh, I
yes.
only need help here, when in reality, there's so much more.
Yes, yes. And in reality, they're like, well, actually, mom, every morning she calls me because she can't, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so you think, okay, well, maybe morning times is the best, or maybe it's the evening, or, whatever that looks like. Right. And so a lot of it is really just trying to hear from you and pull out those pieces that are relevant. And then we first find out like, yeah, do we think we can help? If we don't, like, we're also like so connected to so many resources. I think that's one thing people don't understand either, is that somebody can call our office and they may need a nurse, and we don't do nursing. But I have amazing nursing companies that I trust and that we work with. So this industry, we work together.
Yeah, it's interlinked community.
Yes, yes. I think people don't realize that. And so they feel like, oh, well, it's kind of like staying, like they don't want to like put you in another lane. And you're like, no, it's fine. I can help direct the traffic a little bit. But, as far as our services, we're gonna talk, we're gonna understand what mom needs, what you think mom needs. And then we're gonna go out and meet with her. That's important too. That's completely free. And in most cases, it's completely free, because we're going to be looking also for like safety concerns in the home. Yeah, we're going to be looking for, okay, you may be calling me from another state, right? So you may have a perception about what mom needs. And then when we go into the home, we may be like, oh my gosh, Joanne, did you realize that this.
Right.
And it's just to kind of get eyes on the situation and then we develop a plan that makes sense for everybody. It's it's very personal. It's very different for everyone. And we develop a care plan that says, Joanne's mom likes to, she likes to quilt. She likes to do this. She likes to do that. The more information we can get, the better match we can make as well with a caregiver.
That's so important.
So important, right?
That connection.
Yes, absolutely. That can just, a bad connection, which does happen, but, but we can rectify it pretty quickly. But it's important that the person who comes into your home, you feel like, yeah, I can connect with this person and I trust them, and
it's an intimate situation.
Yes, it totally is.
Intimate,
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So, we just spend time.
That's
kind of, yeah.
It's good to know. Now, can you give me the different type of services, different types of care that you provide through?
Yes, absolutely. So we can start with anything as simple as transportation, if worried about mom driving and she just needs someone to get her to Bridge Club and this and that, and kind of take her around, grocery shopping, errands, things, simple things like that. We can help do meal prep. We can help, a lot of families will be in for a few hours and we'll just prep a whole bunch of meals so that then it's easy for her to access. So we'll do that kind of thing too. It may be that we can work with, like, mom wants to prep meals too, but she just, needs a little company on that, right? So we can definitely do that all the way. So, that's really our companionship type of role. And then you start to get into personal care, showering, bathing, incontinence, any type of, that is so difficult. Sometimes it's hard to, you don't know if mom's taking a shower or how long it's been. And it might just be
That's
that
a
she's
difficult
like,
conversation.
it's a
Many.
difficult conversation. And sometimes it's because they feel afraid they're going to fall. And so we'll be there for standby assistance. Sometimes they may feel like they can't get the water temperature right. So we're really going to be trying to understand, like, what is it that makes this a challenge, right?
And
And showering is just one example.
I find a lot of times too, like for example, with my father's care, I knew my father wouldn't want me there for that part of it.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
it's also a pride thing. It's a parent and a child, and I find that there's a lot of those scenarios, and it's wonderful
Yes.
that your company and you can step in and have someone else be able to do that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then it can be a little more, yeah, a little more separated and a little more. I mean, my dad had someone come and shower him um a few times a week, and he loved her. She would come in her galoshes. And they just had a really special relationship, and it was just something we didn't have to worry about. You know what I mean? Like, we knew he was cared for, and he really, and he would not have, I mean, I did it, right? Because I was standing there. That's what kind of what led us to this. But it his dignity is so important.
It is. It really
Everybody's
is.
dignity is so important. And any way that you can help maintain that dignity is it's
And that's an
it's
excellent point. Help them maintain that dignity.
yeah,
And that's
absolutely.
what you guys do.
We totally do. And we also want people to maintain the independence that sometimes even with my own mom, I do this all the time. Like, I'm like, I'll do it. Let me, she's trying to do something on her phone. And she told me yesterday, like, oh, you sent me a calendar invitation, but it's not on my calendar. I'm like, it's because you declined it. Let me see your phone. So I take her phone, right? Because I'm in a hurry. Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, I'm like,
Yeah, you need to get it done and set.
Yes, it's fixed. But the reality is, you need to allow people to do everything they can independently. So our caregivers are really in tune to that, in terms of, like, okay, if we're going to chop vegetables, as long as you can do it safely, even if it takes a really long time, who cares?
Right.
Right? Like, we'll do it because we also want you to be as independent as you want to be.
And it makes them feel, I find it makes them feel useful. Sometimes as they're going through this journey, they feel that sense of not being useful. So you're
Yeah.
giving them that back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, so then, if we go back to the care, so, personal care is a big part of it. And then, we do have experts in dementia care, in end of life care. So we'll really partner with hospice. I think people, a hospice nurse can't be there every day, or a home health nurse can't be there every day. And so we can go all the way up to that, end of life care, and help support that process and support the family as much as they want. It could be repositioning. It could be at night, like, like we wanted to sleep at night, and because we couldn't,
And that's a good point too. My father was in hospice, and I was blessed. I have 3 brothers and sisters, so we were blessed to take care of him.
Yeah.
But at nighttime was difficult, and we got to the point we made that call.
Yeah.
We need help.
Yeah.
Even though there was
Yeah.
4 of us and we were all in, you
Yeah.
still you
You
still need
need some
that help.
help at night and you're so worried. And I remember it was our hospice nurse. I had a camera on dad at night, and even I was just like not able to sleep very well. And she was the one that said to me, like, he's a really private person. And even though he can't tell you right now, he probably doesn't want a camera on him all the time. And I'm like, so right. So I think also having somebody neutral that's like,
Yes.
maybe, maybe you don't need somebody to sit there all night long. And we'll tell you that. Like, family members call us a lot and they're like, I need 24-hour care. And I'm like, okay, yes, we can do 24-hour care, of course. But like, I want to know, like, what is it that's making you think you need that? And let us kind of see if we can piece out something that, again, happy to do 24-hour care, but not everybody needs that all the time. You know what I mean? So we try really to understand, like I said, understand what your
That's
needs
where you
are.
brought out the personalized. That's why you go and
Absolutely.
evaluate
Yes. Yeah.
each person.
Yeah.
How do you go about with hiring and training your staff?
Absolutely. So we're really, really lucky across the Home Instead network. Our parent company is called Honor Cares, and they've done an amazing job at really making Home Instead always, the heart of Home Instead has always been our care pros or our caregivers. Because if you can make a great connection, then everybody's happy. The caregiver's happy, the family member's happy. It's great. And so really being the heart of and soul of our business, right? So Honor, our parent company, they developed a lot of tools that really make the Care Pro experience amazing and can really attract amazing caregivers. We provide great training for them. We continuous opportunities. A lot of times we partner with different leaders, thought leaders to offer, a special dementia education or something that a caregiver wants to expand their knowledge on. But in terms of just having a great, we provide our caregivers with all medical benefits, with dental benefits, with 401k, with EAP. They have so many great resources, and there's a lot of technology behind that match. So with that, we can attract amazing caregivers.
Yeah,
amazing.
So that is a great point, because I find that a lot in the caregiver part industry, that when you don't give them what they
Yes.
need, they need that medical.
Yes, they
They need a
do.
lot of the things, and
Yes.
you're not able to provide that, then that's something they're stressing over.
Yes.
And they're working for you and they're taking care of someone. So you actually took all that away from them so that they can really focus.
They can really focus on making sure that, I've heard people say like, oh, they don't really need benefits. I'm like, who doesn't need benefits? Like, really, I mean, yeah, okay, right, you're retired or whatever. But like, for the most part, people do appreciate having great benefits because they know that there's a company who's taking care of them. And I think in return, that fosters a really great environment, and it really helps us we call them care pros. We don't call them caregivers.
Nice.
We call them care pros because they are professionals. We treat this as a professional job. They're professionals. We are looking for people with CNA. We've got a lot of retired nurses. We've got, a lot of people who've been amazing family caregivers. And so if you've been an amazing family caregiver, you may need some supplemental training on like safety and things like that, right? But we're going to evaluate their skills, their lift and transfer skills. their bed-bound skills, their just all of that. And then, and train them where they need, where they have gaps or where they have interest to kind of, we do a lot of shadow shifts. I have a person who's dedicated to QAs. So she's going to go out, like if there's a care, let's say a family gets a Hoyer lift and they're like, I don't really know how to use this. And the caregiver's like, I don't really know how to use this either. She'll go out and she'll train them on the Hoyer lift. She'll make sure the family's trained. She'll make sure the caregivers are trained. She'll
What a
go
good
out
idea.
and educate. Yes, because, when my dad, we had a caregiver that we just loved so deeply. And he was great for my dad, but once my dad became bedbound, he didn't have bedbound skills. And so then we're at this situation where we love him and he loves us. Now he's part of our family. He ate like a whole thing of sriracha every single week. Like after my dad died, I'm like, why do we have so much sriracha? And I'm like, oh, it's because he's not here anymore either, right? So, he became such part of our family. But he didn't have the skills that he needed. And at that time, the company really struggled with the company we were using that was amazing. They struggled with how do you really bridge that where you've got a great relationship. And now this caregiver needs to have additional skills in order to stay in this home. Right. And so that's really important because what's really good at one end of the journey might not work, right, as we progress, but you want them with you. So we make sure that we can, now if, for example, it just couldn't happen, like the skills, let's say, he had a lift restriction, like he could do high lift and transfer, and I mean safe lift and transfer. I don't mean just lugging people around, right? We have access to, we've got a huge pool of caregivers. So the other thing we can do is as your needs change, we can match you very carefully to people who have the skills that you need.
So you're able to continue the journey of their
absolutely. Yes,
so
absolutely.
You can start with the basics.
Yep.
And go all the way.
And all the way. Yep. Yeah.
And that is so important because once you convince your loved one, whoever's being taken care of, you want them to be able to have that consistency.
Absolutely. You do. It's important for the person receiving care and the person giving care, right? It's so much more of a satisfying, an ongoing staffing consistency is one of our critical metrics, right? To say, what does consistency look like? And do we make sure that we have that? And then, if we have to ramp up care really, really quickly, sometimes, how long does it take us to reach consistency? Because let's say you call me tomorrow and say, I need 24-hour care. I can get you 24-hour care tomorrow, but I may not be able to get you a consistent person until I, kind of work through that a little bit. So there's a trade-off there, but ongoing consistency is really, really important because it's a relationship. We love our people. I just did a video on this for social media. We truly love the people that we're caring for and the caregivers.
I can see it in your face. I can see.
Yeah. Yes. We love them. Yeah.
It's like you get excited every time,
Yes.
I'm the same way. It's just even when you talk to anyone, it's a passion that you've been through it.
You cannot do this job if you don't care. It's just, there are many different companies out there. And I can tell you that, the common thread is that it's by and large people who really care.
If you were to sum up Home Instead, sum up your company, what philosophy is behind your company?
So the tagline is, to us, it's personal. And it is so deeply true. And we carry that through everything that we do. And I'll tell you, truly, I came from a really rough industry, semiconductors, and not personal. In fact, people would say all the time, this isn't personal, but you are blah, 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 right?
Yep.
And so when my business partner and I, when we first went to headquarters, we're like, are these people real? meeting you, they're hugging you, they're clapping, they're, supporting you, they're cheering you on, and you're thinking, this has got to be fake. And what we realize, it's not fake.
No.
Like it really is. It's personal. And I think that's, we're very involved in the business. We're very involved in our, all of the care and the families, and to us, it's personal. So
Thank you, Debbie, for joining us today. You summed it up perfectly by saying, to us, it's personal. So we can get in contact with you through Home Instead, and the link will be below, and it will show where you guys are located out of and your number.